Welcome to the Locked In Baseball Podcast. I'm William Locke. He is Luis Barranco. It is our 2026 Milwaukee Brewers team preview and prediction episode. Luis, how's it going?
Hey, got the theme music back. Kind of disappeared for the last couple episodes, I feel like.
We're testing it in and out. I'm trying to decide if I like it going before and after. No before, just getting right into it. Production things behind the scenes, you know.
Dun, dun, dun. But it's just like I got so used to just like dun dun dun, and then it just goes. But I mean,
it's back.
It's back. It's back. You know, just like the Milwaukee Brewers are. They're back this year. I mean, new and improved. Improved is asterisk beside of it because I feel they could be improved in the light of the front office, but not to the fans and to the common man of baseball knowledge. But how you doing, man? Milwaukee Brewers, last team in the Central we got to talk about, or we still got
last the Cubs national? No, we still got the Cubs, yeah, and we still got the Tigers in the American League. I mean, obviously, we know the story with the Brewers. Last season, they were the best team in baseball in the regular season, 97-65, won the Central pretty handedly. Their win total heading into last year was 83.5. They completely crushed that out of the water. And then they made it to the NLCS and got swept by the Dodgers. Pretty ugly series for the Brewers. Their total now is 84.5. So down 13 wins from what they had last season at 97. In terms of the offseason, they did not do much. The main thing here is Bradon Woodruff accepted the qualifying offer. So he's back on a $22 million deal for 1 year. They traded away, obviously, another headline move, Freddy Peralta, who's in a contract year. They got Brandon Sproat and Jett Williams from the Mets in return. They also gave up Tobias Myers in that trade. They traded with the Royals, got Angel Zerpa, the reliever, for Isaac Collins and Nick Mears. And they also traded away Caleb Durbin for David Hamilton, Kyle Harrison, and Shane Drohan. So they traded a bunch away, got some guys in return, some good prospects, and they didn't really do much in free agency. Akil Baddoo, Gary Sanchez, Luis Rengifo, who might be playing third base for them this season. It was a typical Brewers offseason. You know, it's kind of what you expect from them at this point.
Can we just be honest? One of these guys in their offseason is going to be one of the dudes we're going to be looking like, oh my God, how did he come out of the blue? Like, we're going to be watching Gary Sanchez like hit 30 home runs again. Like, it's going to happen. It's just like one of these guys who we're just going to be like, oh man, they've really had a reclamation project. I mean, the Brewers are one of those teams like, I don't want to say Moneyball. I don't want to overuse that term because I feel like Moneyball is something so specific that the A's did back in the day that it doesn't really apply. But I feel like they kind of do things differently and they bargain bin and they make it happen. I mean, Milwaukee, I think you can speak to it. It's a great sports town. Wisconsin is a very great sports town. They love their beer. They love their Packers. They love the cheese. And you got the Brewers, you know, there. They got a good team. The team's good. That's what they are. They're good. They're not great. And, you know, I think a lot of this team revolves around this season. I mean, last year it was a bunch of the other guys that really stepped up. I mean, guys that you would expect to be great really weren't great. For example, William Contreras, he's top 5 catcher, top 3 catchers in some people's light. He wasn't elite great like people thought he would be.
And he was playing with that broken finger all season. So I think that definitely had an impact on what he did last year. But yes, to your point, he was not to what he should be. 111 OPS in 150 games last year. OPS.
Jackson Chourio was also all right.
2020 season.
Yeah. Again, but my whole point is like it was a bunch of the other guys. You had guys like Andrew Vaughn, who was great. Logan Henderson came out. They redid Quinn Prestier. I mean, the development and the managerial team of the Milwaukee Brewers did a really good job getting the most out of this team with the ingredients. What Milwaukee does is they have depth and they know how to develop pitching arms. We know that they are the kings of dealing away premier arm and finding a way to fix it. I mean, this year it's Freddy Peralta. They lost Corbin Burns. And when you look at this year's team, it's going to be reliant on the guys of the Jackson Chourios, William Contreras, Joey Ortiz even, and Jacob Misiorowski to take the next step. They want to be in that echelon of teams of the elites of the NL. They have good foundational pieces. It's just, are they foundational pieces? Are they elite pieces? Again, like you said, William Contreras, Jackson Chourio, Jacob Misiorowski, and And, Christian Yelich is there. He still keeps producing, but it's not prime Christian Yelich.
At some point, Yelich will. I mean, he's 34. He'll start to decline, but he has been solid. They extended Pat Murphy this winter, who I think is one of the better managers in baseball. There was a lot of question marks when he took over a couple years ago, and I feel like he's answered all of them. And again, like, this is a team, I feel like their win total is always around 83, 84, and they always exceed expectations. It's when you look at the Brewers, you can't look at like just the names, because none of the names necessarily jump off the page, even though I think like a Jackson Chourio could be one of the better young players in the league. William Contreras could be one of the better catchers, but guys like Sal Frelick, Garrett Mitchell is back, Joey Ortiz, like those are the guys that you see produce. I think looking at the rotation, the loss of Freddy Peralta could be huge. He was their best pitcher last season. And we just don't know what we're going to get with Bradon Woodruff and his injuries. He's coming, he had a shoulder surgery in 2023, full year of rehab in 2024. And then last season, he dealt with kind of a litany of injuries, ankle tendonitis, the lat strain. He's going to lead the rotation. Since 2018, he has a 3.00 ERA and 119 starts. Only 5 pitchers in that time have a better ERA with more starts. DeGrom, Kershaw, Cole, Verlander, and Snell. So when he's pitching, he's one of the best. He's dealt with injuries, and I think that's a concern for the top half of this rotation.
But then again, I want to say the thing with Bradon Woodruff is like, okay, you're coming back from that. What was it? A capsule surgery? Shoulder capsule surgery was the big deal with him that he had that he didn't pitch. Like, you have to think about it. He was rehabbing that injury so hard that, maybe and I'm just putting this out there, that the conditioning and whatnot was not up to par because he was focused on getting back, that's how it is. But I didn't think about it. He has a full offseason. It's a contract year. He had signed that 1 year, $22 million deal contract year. I mean, I think he'll shoulder the load pretty well for Freddy Peralta. And to be honest, I do feel like this team is better than what people make it out to be. Again, this is going to be a team that's not going to wow you when you look at the page, but they have quality MLBers, and they will find a way to just win ball games. They do the little things right. They don't beat themselves, and I do feel like they are way better than what people think. Again, they remind me a lot of those Tampa Bay Rays teams that we grew up with that went deep into the postseason and made the World Series. Again, great teams that were built with good fundamentals, and they never beat themselves. And that's what I feel like the Milwaukee Brewers are. And like I said, if Jackson Chourio and those guys can get it together, I mean, they have great foundational pieces. And when you look at it, they could be one of these teams in the future with their farm system, how good of their farm it is. Like, they could be one of the ones soon.
I was going to bring that up next. You mentioned the next generation, or like that young nucleus, the foundation. They have the number one farm system in all of baseball, according to Keith Law. They have 6 top 100 prospects and 3 within the top 50. They have the number 3 overall prospect in baseball, and the shortstop has.
And I want to make a caveat before you talk about Jesus Made.
Jesus Made, but Jesus Made, yeah.
Yeah, Jesus Made. It's like a lot of these guys came over through the Mets trade. So you do have to thank the Mets a lot for helping this farm system out, which I think they got a really good return, which you can dive into.
Was Made a Mets trade?
No, but they have guys
guys
we're about to talk about soon, but that's my point.
Jesus Made, number 3 overall in all of baseball, according to Keith Law, made a huge jump last year, and he's going to be their future shortstop. They have a middle infielder, Luis Pena, number 27 overall. Jett Williams comes over from the Mets, shortstop center fielder, number 45 overall. They have a catcher, Jefferson Caro, number 74. Brandon Sproat, the right-handed pitcher, number 75 overall. And they have another shortstop, Cooper Pratt, number 99 overall. Keith Law says, how good is this Brewers system right now? They were number 1 before the Freddy Peralta trade, which brought in 2 more top 100 prospects to bring them from 4 to 6, third most in baseball behind the Mariners and Dodgers. The Brewers have upside and they have depth, a credit to their amateur and international scouts, and to player development. That last group has taken some less heralded prospects like Cooper Pratt, Logan Henderson, who you mentioned earlier, who I was not aware of, Marco Dinhez, and Luis Pena, and turned them into potential everyday players and rotation pieces. So they are one of, if not the best run organizations in all of baseball. and we need to like respect them in that way now. Everyone still kind of like gives the Rays that moniker, but the Brewers are doing it at a better level because they are actually winning consistently on the field, and they've been dominating this division, which has a team in the Cubs that is at least a pretty decent spender, not necessarily the Dodgers or the Mets. And the Brewers just keep doing it with these small payrolls, man. It's really impressive.
You also do forget, like, this division isn't like, I'm just be frank. I know we crap on this division a lot, but let's look at it. The Cubs have an unlimited payroll with the Ricketts family. And I mean, they have Cubs Con and everything, like you just said. The Cardinals have one of the largest fan bases in the country. I mean, Cards Country is pretty big, and they're one of the better run organizations in our like lifetimes. I know recently they haven't been up to par, but a lot of, we would, growing up when we were in teenage years, it was like, I remember for my birthday, we went to the PCL World Series game with the Redbirds.
Oh, yeah.
and how many guys on that team ended up going to become MLBers? Like, it was like David Freese, John Jay, like Tommy Pham. Like, a lot of these Cardinals players were literally littered throughout the major leagues. Not just the Cardinals. They were just littered as quality MLBers. Like, I think Tommy Pham was on that team, and Tommy Pham was, is still playing ball to this day. You also have the Cincinnati Reds, which the Reds have the original history. And, I know the Reds recently haven't been great, but historically they've been a decent team, also pretty well run, bringing up good prospects and players like Jay Bruce, Joey Votto, Adam Dunn. Like, it's not bad. The only team that you can really be like, oh, the team's been garbage for is the Pirates. But again, this is not a lame duck division in comparison to other divisions that have been just notoriously terrible.
I find this division a lot more interesting than the American League Central.
I do agree. And,
especially this year.
And I'll say this division has a little more, I don't want to say luster, but in regards to the point we were making about the Cubs and those teams in comparison to the AL West. I mean, the Astros have been terrible they had that really good span in the 2000s, and they were terrible in the 10s, and then they're back at the end of the 10s. The Angels haven't been good since – I can't remember the last time the Angels were actually like legitimately like in like World Series relevant before like the 2000s and the 90s. The A's, we know what the A's are. They're constantly going to be a revolving door. Shout out Tate McRae. And then Seattle. It's not like, they were good in the early 2000s, but it's just like it was that lull period where that whole division was just kind of like, all right, the Rangers, maybe, but again, I feel like this division has a lot more than the AL West, and I'm interested in this division. The Brewers are going to be a good team. I do feel like they're not a .TV friendly team, in my opinion, because
that's fair.
I honestly hate watching games at American Family Mortgage Field. I hate them.
It's not my favorite stadium. I've been there once. It's okay. I'm anti-indoor baseball, and I understand why you need it in Miami and Tampa because it rains all the time. And it does rain a lot in Milwaukee, to be fair. It does. But
everybody's now
indoor stadium stuck.
All the indoor bro, in like 50 years when our kids are doing this podcast, hopefully. Well, that's a crazy thing. We're all going to be an indoor stadium. Like Yankee Stadium.
In the NFL, yes.
Yankee Stadium 3 is going to be, domed.
Oh,
God. The house that Judge built is going to be domed.
Brewers fans love to give the Cubs crap for not having a dome. Like whenever there's a rain out at Wrigley, there's always some banter there. But it's like, it's Wrigley Field, man. It's like one of the coolest stadiums in baseball. It's not nothing against Milwaukee. It's a fine stadium. I don't love indoor stadiums. The Cubs fans and the Brewers fans, that beef is real. I feel like a lot of it is more so coming from the Brewers side of things. The Cubs care.
That's a Chicago-Wisconsin rivalry.
It is. I mean, it's a good rivalry. The Brewers have dominated the Cubs. I was there game 4. It was electric, but then the Brewers went out in game 1, won game 5 in Milwaukee. And they flew the L flag after the game and then got swept by the Dodgers.
You see, you're even doing it. You're not a native of Chicago, but you've adopted the culture of the city.
Well, I'm outing myself on the Brewers preview. I'm a Bears fan, so I hate the Packers.
But Wisconsin dominates Chicago. That's just the nature of the beast.
It does.
The
Not
only
last
thing
year in football, though, but it does.
The only thing that Wisconsin might struggle with is basketball. And even then, hot take, if it's not for Michael Jordan, I know he's the greatest of all time. If it's not for that era, the Bulls are an irrelevant franchise.
If the Bulls didn't draft top 2 best player ever, it's probably one of the worst franchises in professional sports, American professional sports. Yeah, 100%.
That's what I'm saying. I mean,
it's not like the Bucks have been any better. I know they won in 2021.
The Bucks have had more and more historical players than the Bulls.
Kareem,
Giannis, Oscar Robertson. Who else? Michael Redd. I mean, that's one for Armand. I know if Armand.
Ray Allen was there.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Who had the Bulls had? They're all Jordan era players. People want to hang on to Derrick Rose. I know Derrick Rose is great, but I'm going to say something extremely controversial. Yeah, Derrick Rose is great. He's the biggest what if, but he's not an NBA Hall of Famer.
Oh, no.
He's a basketball Hall of Famer for what he's done in his collegiate and his career and for the impact he's had on the game. But Bulls fans want to hold on to those 3 or 4 runs with Derrick Rose that they had. To be honest, yes, they were great, and it sucks that he got hurt because Tibbs literally played him in a freaking Saturday afternoon in the first round of the playoffs versus the Sixers, a 1-8 when they were up 15 points. They didn't need to do it. And so I'm just saying, but back to the whole take on the Chicago and Milwaukee. I mean, look, the Brewers are just a better run organization. And I feel like one of the things Chicago could take a note of is how they scout and how they trade. Again, it's always weird. And that's why we look at the Freddy Peralta trade, for an example. Yes, Freddy Peralta was an expiring contract. But the Brewers are a team that they've gotten the reputation now that they're a team you do not trade with.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, yeah.
Because you will get burned some way or another. It's like, why are they trading him? Well, case in point, Yankees traded for Devin Williams. Look at Devin Williams.
Did they inject Devin Williams with some I'm shit now serum before they traded him? He was terrible.
And then they flipped Caleb Durbin too. So it's just whatever. Corbin Burns, they did. I think Joey Ortiz has the tools to be a really good everyday player. And I know the DL Hall thing hasn't really panned out, but I do feel like there's some sort of
do you remember who they got in the Hader trade? That was a few years ago now. I don't remember.
Oh, that was San Diego, right? It doesn't matter because they're.
I'll look it up. I'm just curious.
It doesn't matter because they're San Diego prospects, and San Diego prospects, if we've learned anything, they're always overhyped and they always flake out. So
it was 2022. Hader to the Padres for Taylor Rogers, Denilson Lamet, who we were talking the other day, got Cy Young votes in 2020. And prospects Robert Gasser, who's still there, and Esteri Ruiz, who is not with the organization. So Robert Gasser is kind of the one guy that is still of note in the Brewers system.
So, but that's what I'm saying. But then this is something for the San Diego Padre preview. It's when was the last time, and I'll pose this question for when we talk about it in a couple of days. When have the San Diego Padres produced a legitimate prospect?
I won't answer it because you pose it for the next pod. Last few things before we get out. We didn't mention the bullpen. It's kind of always the last thing we mention on these previews, but the Brewers have a good bullpen. Strong. Abner Uribe is the closer, strong. Trevor McGill is there, strong. Jared Koenig, Aaron Ashby, Angel Zerpa now joins the bullpen. I think it's going to be a really good bullpen. Again, they were 6th in ERA last year, 8th in WHIP. Good defensive team, good starting pitching. I mean, the hitting was what was surprising last year. 3rd in average, 2nd in OBP, 11th in OPS, 3rd in runs, 22nd in home runs, which you need the long ball to win in the playoffs, and 2nd in stolen bases. So there were a really good season at the plate last year with William Contreras banged up. Right now they have Luis Rengifo at 3rd. I'll be curious to see if he lasts the whole season. Their shortstop is Joey Ortiz. I would be very interested. What happens if Jesus Mate just is kind of like Roman Anthony last year, or kind of maybe like a Connor Griffin where he kills the minor leagues again for the first few months of the season, and he's just knocking on the door. Do they call him up this year? I think it would be an interesting thought.
Or Jett Williams. I think Jett Williams would be
Jett,
yeah. So it remains to be seen. I mean, look, my biggest takeaway of this team is like last year it was the other guys who really got it done. Guys that we didn't know, like I believe what's that guy's name? No offense, no disrespect. Excuse me. The guy they traded, Isaac Collins. He was in the rookie. He was on MLB.com rookie ladder for like a good month and a half, 2 months, and he was doing well. And they're like, nope, we're gonna get rid of you and send you to Kansas City for Angel Zerpa. It was the other guys, and I feel their big guns didn't do that well last season. And so their win total right now is 84.5. William, I want to go with the over because I do feel like they're a good managed team. I mean, Pat Murphy really showed his managerial chops. They have good players, and I do feel like the guys that they do have around the other guys will not be as bad. Like, yes, those other guys won't be as good as they were last year, but those good players or like guys we think of as potential stars are going to rise up, and it's going to we're not going to hit the magical number of 97 wins, but I think we will be up over the 84.5. Like, we will regress to the mean, but we also will see some positive upward tick with the guys like Contreras and whatnot.
Okay. Yeah, 84 feels so low for a team that won 97 last year. I'm worried about the rotation with Woodruff's health. I think Misiorowski will be fun to watch. What does he look like in his first full season? He was a freaking all-star last year. After what, 3 starts? Quinn Prestere, we didn't mention.
Mickey Mouse All-Star.
Mickey Mouse All-Star. It shouldn't have happened. I'm sorry.
That's gonna. We should do a day in the pod of like baseball accolades that shouldn't count. Like, remember yesterday we were talking about the
2020 award winners.
2020 award winners. Like Freddie Freeman MVP. No disrespect. You deserve the MVP for 60 games, but it's 162. You left out a whole 102 games. All
right, yeah.
Why are you thinking so hard about this? Why are you thinking so hard about this?
Because I'm trying to think of who my playoff teams are, and I think it's an over. I think it's an over. I think they're a playoff team.
They don't beat William. They don't beat themselves, and this is me. And you know what? I'm sounding like a Brewers lawyer. They don't beat themselves. They're in a division with St. Louis, who I think they'll just dog walk. Pittsburgh will be difficult, but again, I do feel they're a better team than Pittsburgh, and they won't beat themselves. And they always dominate the Reds. Like, the Reds always, like, you can always see the shit stains coming off their pants when they leave that stadium. Like, every single time, it's like rinse and repeat. Oh, the Reds are on fire, and here come the Milwaukee Brewers that lead the division are on top, and lo and behold, bang.
And they own the Cubs. So we'll see if they win the division again this year. I think they're a playoff team. We're both on the over. That is our second to last National League Central team. We're going back to the American League Central tomorrow with the Detroit Tigers, one of the more fascinating teams in baseball this year. Luis, thanks as always, and we'll catch you guys tomorrow. Peace out.